This your open with it.
I show 6 p.m., so we'll go ahead and call to order the June 17th, 2025 meeting of the Temple Planning Commission. We'll start with a call to order and then the roll call. Gary Thomas, Ward 1 is present. Ward 2, Greg Doster.
Present.
Ward 3, Troy Curtis.
Present.
Ward 4, Calvin Waters.
Present.
Ward 5, Karen Powell. At-large, Taryn Bibbins.
Present.
I'll go ahead and open us with an invocation. Let us pray. Our most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, dear God. Thank you for this opportunity to come together in service to you. We lift up our city to you, dear God. We ask special blessing upon our city employees and their families. We ask that you would be with our meeting tonight, guide our conversations, dear God. Guide us in the direction you'd have us go. Give us protection as we leave this place tonight, as we travel. All these things we ask in your Son's precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Moving on to item number 3, approve the minutes of the May 20th, 2025 Temple Planning Commission meeting. Those minutes were sent to you by email and also included in your packets. I'll give you a minute to look over those, and then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Curtis to approve the minutes as printed. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Mr. Waters. Any discussion? All in favor of approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The minutes are approved as printed. Item number 4, status report on council action taken from the May 20th, 2025 Temple Planning Commission meeting. Deidre?
We got a request by Lee Shirley for parcel splits, and our paperwork wasn't 100% the way we wanted it to look. So it was easily understandable. So it was for a parcel join of parcel T03-008-0193 and T03-008-0194 on Ivy Lake Parkway. This is a property owner who wants to join the parcels in order to build an office, and that was approved 4-0. And the third one, I'm sorry, was a final plat approval for the enclave at Azalea Hills, Phase 2, and that was approved 4-0. The council final vote on June the 2nd was also approved 4-0.
Item number 5, a request by Lee Shirley for a parcel split of parcel T04-007-006 and T04 District 6. The future use of this property is general commercial, which is the way it is currently zoned. Any comments from staff?
Yes, if you'll look at your set of plans, the last page is still not completed the way we need it. But second from the last page explains a little better and makes it a little easier for us to understand. Sorry, dude.
You good?
Okay, so you see the purple lines? So what's gonna happen is this large back parcel will be connected with that so that they would have road frontage. This purple line will be removed, so this track 2 and this will be track 1. The only reason that all of this is happening is so that in the future, if at any, this was the previous parcel for this, that will have enough road frontage for a driveway, and that is just going slightly smaller, so she can make driveways. Okay?
I got it. Yep.
So, but
So we're taking out this line and taking out
what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have them reprint it tomorrow
all the little picture pieces.
correctly, like that second to the last page, and I'll take them to Gary to have them if you got it.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 6, hold a public hearing on the request for a parcel split by Lee Shirley. Is there anyone here to speak in support of this application? Ms. Shirley, do you have any comments other than what staff has presented? Okay. Any questions for the applicant? Anyone else here to speak in favor of this application? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this application? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Move on to item number 7. Consider taking action on the request by Lee Shirley. Planning Commission, do you have a motion?
Have a motion. Let it go council for approval?
This one is just with us, partial split, so it would be for approval. And Mr. Doster, is that approval based on correcting the plat? Okay. I have a motion by Mr. Doster to approve as will be amended to correct to meet the plat that Deidre showed you. Is there a second?
I second.
We have a second by Ms. Bivens. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Will be approved. When you get those printed, Deidre will get them, and all we need to do is for me to sign them. The partial split doesn't go to the council for approval. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to item number 8, request by Billy Jack Bell with ISG Incorporated for rezoning of parcel T02-006-0219 on Highway 78 West, land lot 179, District 6. The current zoning classification for this property is R1, single-family detached residential. The request is for light industrial. The future land use map states the property as R1. All right. Planning Commission, any initial questions from staff? Okay. You have a copy of a draft development agreement that was at your place when you got. I'm going to give you just a few minutes to look over that if you hadn't had a chance to do so far. Generally, we require a definite plan of what will be constructed, and the applicant is wanting to purchase the property based on a contingency that he would build to suit based on whoever would then purchase that property. And this development agreement addresses that and provides some protection for the city, just for your consideration. If you want to look over that, and then we'll have the public hearing portion. You need one, do you?
He's saying right now, all he wants.
I can't do it on my phone, I'll have to do it on my desk.
Deidre drafted by the city attorney.
This part of it.
Yes.
When will this be signed? When we approve it? Or is this an open thing? Or
It's kind of
a few more
open.
days?
It's
Well,
still in
You guys
draft.
will discuss it, and the council will discuss it, like
That's it.
what we want to prohibit and that sort of thing.
So like
So
right
it'll
now,
probably
How is this
represent it.
gonna affect the moratorium that we have in place right now?
Moratorium's residential.
So you can't build commercial.
Essentially, most of the time when we look at a rezoning, we look at a rezoning based on a plan for whatever's going to be built there. I'm going to build a subdivision. I'm going to build a Dollar General. I'm going to do a contingency to purchase a piece of property and then build a building to suit what that particular business wants, but he doesn't know what that business is yet. And so, in those cases, you do just a recommendation. We're not the final approval. Planning Commission just recommends to the city council. And the city council would be the final say in the development agreement as well. The city attorney has drafted an agreement and put some things in the draft agreement that would not be built there as a draft. That would be a final decision by the city council. So that's what that agreement is.
Do you know when that would take, because this is my backyard.
That would be effective when the city council approves it, and that's based on the, in a minute, Everybody will have an option to do so. Any other questions from the Planning Commission? Okay? We're going to go ahead and move to item number 9, hold a public hearing on a request for rezoning by Billy Jack Bell. Any comments from the applicant? Any comments from the applicant?
Yes, Harry Aldridge Group. I appreciate the opportunity to present to everyone tonight and to discuss what the plan here is. I brought some pictures. You are absolutely right, we do not have a tenant in tow at this time. We specialize in building out industrial light industrial parks, not heavy industrial parks, not smokestack, not giant manufacturing facilities. We do not do York. This is my name that's on these projects. I take my business very personally. I've been told business is not personal, but I think it is.
Mr. Bell, can you take the microphone?
Yes.
Thank you.
And it is, as you can see, this is with topo. This is the property. There are creeks that separate the property into really two distinct, different properties. Oftentimes, developers will come in and they will determine that, boy, this would be really efficient if I could get rid of all these creeks. I have no interest in getting rid of the noise that would be created, whether it's a neighborhood or whether it's a light industrial park. What I've found very appealing about this site itself is the fact that the topo allows for everything to flow towards the creek. That means any doors, any dock doors, will all be oriented towards the creek, so away from the neighborhoods and away from the roads, so that there will be very, very minimal impact. We are required to have a 100-foot setback. We'll go to 8 feet. We will work with Deidre and her staff to make certain that we are handling the landscaping in a manner that would be more than adequate, that would help both protect you guys and us. So this is the topo, this is the property, it's 80 acres. We do not have a site plan. Typically when the market's red hot, like y'all have seen in the past, where people are putting buildings up left and right, interest rates are in check, companies are feeling very confident, the economy's booming, and you can invest and build a building and the tenants will come. They still will come. We're just not at a point yet. Temple is not in the middle of the industrial trend as it's now taking place. However, build-to-suits are already here. Southwire just did a build-to-suit. McKesson did a build-to-suit. Hitachi Honda out in Tallapoosa just did a build-to-suit on Liberty Road as well. We would have loved to have put them here in this park. Those buildings are incredibly nice. They're tilt-up construction. They're in Fortune 500 industry companies, top-of-the-line companies. The park will be an elevation of what is currently here. It will be somewhat similar to the Temple Industrial Park that is on East Luke Road now, in that those buildings were built as the employees to Temple, Georgia, pay taxes in Temple, Georgia, and participate in the community. The impact to the community to Temple, Georgia will be very, very minimal. We love the fact that it's off of Interstate I-20, federal highway. It's off of Highway 113, state highway. State maintains it, not Temple. That means that you guys will not be footing the bill for any improvements that need to take place. US Highway 78, same deal. We're also going to put all the internal roads inside the park will be private. We will maintain those. We will have CCRs, codes, covenants, and restrictions, making sure that the tenants are doing what they need to do and that they are good citizens and stewards of the park. Because putting one tenant here, if it affects my ability to put other tenants in this park, then I've really done a bad deal, and that is not what I'm in business to do. So I think you will find that I'm easy to get in touch with, and that I'm not going to be somebody that's going to be disappearing. I'm way, way too heavily invested in the community, and want to see things turn out really well here. I want to show you all a couple projects that we have done just to give you a flavor of what we plan on doing inside this park. Let me know if I'm running over on time here.
And that's
This is a project in Brazelton, Georgia that we've done. You can see the landscaping here, the type of construction. We have that are working in the warehouse. We will also have very high-paying jobs who will also be administrative, as well as operating regional companies and their offices inside these buildings. Here's one in Cartersville. This is Commerce Park. This is off Cass White Road. This is a very good example of what we'll be doing. This is a building in Newton, Georgia, off Shenandoah. Y'all may be familiar with this park. This is very, very nice. This was a spec project. It's multi-tenants. We've got about 6 tenants in these buildings. They're designed to hold multiple tenants, so if it's a 100,000 square foot building, we'll normally have 2 or 3 tenants inside that building, which gives us a large range of being able to accommodate a lot of different good quality users. I don't know why I keep coming over here getting the boards. I could bring them all at work. This is 120 acres. You can see there's 3 different buildings on here. A wide range of different options and offerings, all different sizes, able to accommodate different users. This is a site plan of that Noonan project. You can see all the office area and car parking here. Very well landscaped. We have 4 tenants in this project. We just completed leasing the last space about 6 months ago. This is a sampling of what the interiors of these buildings look to have. This will be something that Temple will be incredibly proud of. It's something that I'm incredibly proud of, something I take great pride in, and I'll enjoy watching these things get built, seeing the tenants move in, and having them last for a long, long time. We build the offices out to accommodate exactly what they need on the interior. This is a picture of that Locust Grove project I just showed you that had the site plan on there. Again, these are very expensive buildings. At build out, we anticipate this project being worth somewhere between 200 and 450 million. A lot of retail projects. And then the last one I'll bore you with here. This is in Jackson County, up on Dry Pond Road. It's another project we've got, 3-building project. Most of these were built speculative to create a very nice park to be able to attract great industries, and then they're going to come to us and say, here's what I need. I want to be in Temple, Georgia, but I need a 50,000 square foot building, and I need it designed like this. And so we will take these rules and regulations, y'all's ordinances, work with Deidre and her staff to create and build buildings that look like this, with landscaping like this, but will suit, and that's who is here is local. We like to work with local people whenever we can. We think that helps. It helps keep the community. It helps keep the money in the community. It also helps to have throughout the course of this project, and will be the engineer of record. And I'm here to answer any questions anybody has, unless there's.
Y'all gonna protect them, because there are people over there that's got lakes, and they got horses.
Greg, can you use your microphone, please?
On the protection of those creeks down there, how are y'all gonna protect?
Well, we are in the process now of doing a jurisdictional wetlands delineation, which will define those creeks and what type of creeks they are. We will not go through the Army Corps and do what's called an individual permit. Individual permit allows you to take out more than 300 feet of stream, 75 feet off of those creeks per the code. And we have no interest in messing with those. Those are amenities to us. I think those are huge. Residential developers would like to have those typically. Industrial developers, more and more of them are starting to realize that it's harder and harder to get labor to show up every day, and so you better have some real serious amenities. And getting rid of the streams, doing anything that would disrupt anybody downstream is not what we're wanting to do. We will put silt fences in when we've washed down to those lakes, which are just here on Lake Shore, so I'm very aware of that. I've got several pieces of properties with lakes on them, and there's nothing worse than when somebody upstream decides that they're going to go do something that affects you downstream. So I've been there. I'm sensitive to it.
Any other questions from the Planning Commission?
I do, but I'm not quite sure which way I need to ask them, because I'm an environmentalist. I know what this property is exactly. I can relate with the young lady sitting over there. And
Can you hold
a
your
lot-
microphone up,
And
Karen?
a lot of people that really should be here, large chunk of the north side of Temple. I live on that side. I know about those creeks when I run through my backyard, and I also run through the well that I have on my property. So you really coming in, you coming in deep. I like
Karen,
your
can you hold
pictures.
your mic to your lips, please?
I like your pictures.
Thank you.
Turn this thing on, because I do want to hear it.
It is on.
Okay. I like your pictures, I like your presentation, but I'm a homegirl. I'm very protective of Temple. This is another big chunk of Temple that's about to be, but what we need, and what I will always fight for, is to have the quality of life in Temple to remain as natural and beautiful and untouched and safe and secure as it always have been since I was a little girl, as well as my grandparents. This is a big undertaking. You know, these are 100,000 square foot. A few issues. So let me ask you guys: is Temple going to be supplying water for this?
Yeah, we've discussed that, yeah.
Okay, Temple is dealing with a few issues now with all the residential and commercial. We got a lot of commercial coming in. They hadn't even started yet down here on Billing Road, and several other things that's going on around here. It's just a lot going on. So we have a lot of things I'm talking to the council, really, to the committee here. We got a lot of things we need to look at to protect Temple, to protect the citizens of Temple. We got water issues. We got traffic issues. This is coming right out on 78 Highway, right down below Lakeview Drive. We got issues that we're dealing with now. And like I say, I'm not a negative person on progress, but I am pro-quality. This is going to do a lot to the, and I think, and I hope we can do something to really get more people in here, more individuals. If we have to do some door-to-door, we need to get some more. I'll get back to it, but I will have some more questions and comments later.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the Planning Commission?
Yes, I just want to make sure, I mean, I understand you're building that building and this huge building and, you know, it's really pretty, but I'm like Karen, we got to kind of look at you like data centers. You know, they're quiet, not a lot of things there, but yeah, we don't have that water supply.
Understood. And part of this is, I am aware that we have a water issue and we have sewer issues, and we've got them all over Atlanta, Georgia, together. So it's not as if when we get zoning, the good news is I don't have a site plan. If I have a site plan, that meant I've priced things. I've gone ahead and I've gotten the building. We're looking at a land disturbance permit. We're not looking at any of those items now. So we're literally putting ourselves in a position when the time is right, when the water's there, when the sewer's there, when the economy's there, to be able to capitalize on an opportunity that's sitting here now. That to me feels like it should be light industrial. It is off of state highways. Unfortunately, there are some neighbors that are adjacent here, and I'm very sensitive to that. And so we will do everything we can to make certain that our use and that the tenants and that our setbacks and everything is done in a fashion that would, if I lived there, would work for me too. If it's residential, you're going to have a lot more water and sewer than you are on industrial. I have no interest in doing a data center. This site could not support a data center. So that's good news. The power lines going through there will not support a data center. I have no interest in doing data centers. What you see, that's my business. That's what I've been in for 30 years, is light industrial. You know, the creek, that's a great question. It's a great issue. You know, we have 500-year storms. I'm sure there's probably silt getting in there now because people sometimes are still doing things. They're taking down trees, or people are out there in their tractors doing work. You can't create a perfect, pristine environment. But on this site, when the work's taking place, so you can absolutely be assured that if there's a problem, I'll be there to address it. And there will be issues. There are going to be issues. This is construction. This is not a fantasy land where everything's going to be perfect. If somebody comes in here and tells you that nothing's going to ever happen here that's not going to at some point affect somebody, they're not telling you the truth. The reality is you want somebody that knows that that's going to happen and is willing to and able to deal with it and can talk to people, and you can call me up on the cell phone and let me know if there's an issue. That is not a problem. I appreciate knowing what my neighbors are thinking so I can address those issues. But yeah, to answer your water and sewer questions, that is an issue, and maybe when we have this zoned, maybe we can get Brian Deal and everybody get excited about how we come up with a plan to get more water and sewer so he can chase industries as well. There are very, very, very few sites in West Georgia that can accommodate this type of light industrial parks back there, not near the impact that the homes are going to be, not the impact on the schools. It's positive tax dollars. We will be paying our own services when it comes to trash. So we're not going to have trash dumps coming through here, picking up, you know, each individual trash can for each individual house. Private roads, again, emphasize that. We'll be maintaining those. So I welcome any questions you all have.
Any other questions from the Planning Commission?
Yes. I have one. On a tract this size, what's your average square footage for a building?
Great question. It varies greatly. This is a highly inefficient site. Not only do you have huge setbacks from the residential, those creeks take up maybe 10 to 12 acres of the property easily. So on something like this, your ratio, you would want it to be 30% coverage ratio. On something like this, you're going to probably be 15 to 20% coverage ratio, depending on how we lay it out.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is the bigger the building, the more cars, the more traffic, just like Ms. Powell's and Ms. Bivens were talking about. My big concern is we love US 78, but we have just a regular traffic stoplight at center of that in the afternoons with folks trying to get back down 78 towards Bremen. And with adding more to that, even if it is 3 years, my concern is, have you done anything to possibly get with GDOT to say, hey, this is what we might, and the 78 intersection in the afternoons, you could have backed up all the way to Ingalls. And then we're adding more stuff coming in and out of there. There's so many new residents. Adding jobs is a great thing, but at the same time, what are the cons versus the pros to that?
So good question. We have not had conversations with the Department of Transportation on this particular project yet to do traffic studies. My hope is that, and this normally happens when the Department of Transportation gets involved and they see something that has some scale to it, they start responding by saying, Mr. Developer, we would love for you to do this. Mr. Developer, we would love for you to do that. Those items will not take place in a void. So if nobody's doing anything that creates additional traffic counts, and I'm from Atlanta, it's a pain everywhere. It's something that we all have to deal with. So hopefully you're working with people who will be good stewards of that and who have good contacts with the Department of Transportation John Bass is here in the room for a reason. He's going to help sensitive to that, and I got a feeling once we start talking to Department of Transportation, they're going to have some ideas that are going to create some of those opportunities as far as fixing some of those issues that you brought up. I agree with you.
Okay.
Deidre?
Yes. My question was, what is your typical length of a lease on a building of this size?
Our typical lease is 5 years to 10 years.
You and I had spoken in the past about rear traffic in the buildings to the property that, the residential property that backs up to that property. And we had discussed where traffic would be in and out, there wouldn't be any rear traffic on the.
Good point. And that, again, is part of what was to me compelling is if the topo was such that this property was crowned, in other words, if at the dead center middle of it was the high point, the dock doors would want to lay on the edges of the property. So, right, well, here's your building, it sits flat. The truck court sits down 4 feet. So it cost a fortune to grade against the grain of the topography. So the topography is such that all of the action, taking a look at it right there. So the high points are on those corners. Good point, yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
I have one more question, please.
Okay.
All those creeks you're talking about, are those creeks still considered part of Carroll County watershed?
Yes, I'm sure they are.
Any other questions from the Planning Commission? Okay. Anyone else here to speak in favor of this application? Anyone to speak in opposition or any other questions from the public? Okay, if you don't. Yeah, just a minute. Yes, sir. Okay.
On the fence, you know, right
Can you use the
here
microphone?
where the houses are.
Yes, sir.
People are concerned.
Use the mic, please.
It
Mr.
probably
Bell, give
concerned
him the
me. Well,
microphone,
How
please.
far, were you gonna run the fence all the way down at the property? That's what I'm getting at, right here. See,
Where's your property?
it start, all of this right here. Plus, you already answered that one about the creek. I was real concerned about that.
understand, yes, sir.
Because where that lake's there, and it's already filling up with some stuff, but that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, but as far as in favor of it, I'm definitely in favor of it myself.
Okay. I will run the fence all the way down the entire linear. I wanted to talk to you to make sure. Some people do not want a fence in their backyard, others do. Yes, sir. Understood.
My name's Jimmy Rowe, and I live at 135 Enterprise Drive. I have a few things that I wrote down because I've been living here 40 years, and where we live on Enterprise Drive, we got nothing behind us. It's a quiet neighborhood. Everything runs smoothly. I'm worried about, I don't know what kind of business you're going to put in there. That's number one. It's like buying a pig and a poke to me. You can say whatever you want to, but once you get that contract signed, you can do whatever you want. So that's a question mark in me. How does this affect our property value, being that close to a business? Is it going to affect our property value? Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? Don't know. Traffic, that's now, and the red light you were talking about, are they going to have to put a red light to go into your business? Don't know. So DOT is right. We need to contact them and find out what is the solution. If we do this, what does the DOT require us to do? That's number one. The buffer zone. What's the buffer zone going to be on the residential side? 100 feet?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The water and sewer issue. I work for Villa Record. I retired from Villa Record. I know all about the water and sewer. As John can attest. Hey, John. Anyway, that was a big issue with us. So we had to find ways from Douglas County, Carroll County to get the water in. Then you got to get rid of the water. Do we have the capacity to do that? And they're saying it's not going to be that much effect. Well, we don't know what they're putting in there. In here. What about the jobs in Temple? In other words, don't we have people that need jobs in Temple? So, you know, that's something else to look at. And what you're, you know, the ones that you're showing us look like office spaces, correct?
Yes.
So the traffic, the 75-foot buffer on the creek, that sounds good. Door to the front of the creek. You mentioned earlier that the doors are going to be facing the creek, right? Correct. But then when you stood, somebody asked a question.
Car traffic?
Yeah.
Yes, coming off 78, correct.
All right. So I guess my main thing is I'm all for growth. We got to have it. Got to have the money, revenue, if you want good streets, you want to build this, you want to build that. But let's do it responsibly. And I know you're not the say-so in it, the council is, so, you know, we'll go that route. But think about what we're doing, and maybe we'll make the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rowe.
And that's a good point. We are, I would prefer that Janice or somebody come to us. We got nothing against Temple Jobs. The goal is to grow industries and attract industries.
Any other public comments or questions?
That's right. They would. And I cannot answer the question about housing value. The sole decision maker, benevolent dictator, maybe is a good way to put it. He only wants light industrial product in his community. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Buford. It's beautiful. I don't know if anybody's seen Buford High School. It looks like a college campus, which is exactly what we're focused on as well. There is something that's going to happen here. If I don't get the zoning, then you'll have somebody else who will probably show up here. They got a savvy attorney, and I'm sure there's a couple of them around here. They'll say, well, you shot down light industrial. You must want it to go residential. So something's going to happen here. It's finding the right steward and the right opportunity and the right match. Totally agree. Things are happening. Things are changing here. We're sensitive to that. That's what attracts us to Temple. The same things that attract y'all to Temple are going to be the same things that attract companies to Temple. If that's an ugly park, they're not going to want to come. And I'm not into make bad. I do not like to make bad investments. So this is an investment. This is my investment. This is my project. Like I said, I've got other property in Temple and around here. So I think you'll find that I'm not going to just pack up and leave and go on down the road, because down the road's a quarter mile that way, 2 miles that way, 4 miles that way, 8 miles that way. So there's not too far to go. Yes, ma'am.
You were talking about the buffering. It's 100 feet. I'll need a microphone.
You're pretty good. Go ahead. No, you're good.
Well, it can't be,
Ma'am,
it can't be
please
heard on
use
the
the
stream.
microphone because
We're live streaming.
we're live streaming. They can't hear you online.
Oh, well, hello, Temple.
There you go.
My question is, you're talking about docks, possibly. So that's trucks, correct? Okay, you're going to be 100 feet from my backyard with a wooden 6-foot privacy fence. What are your hours those trucks are going to be running, coming in and out of those buildings?
So I do not know the answer to that question.
So it could be throughout the night.
It's probably not more than likely, but it is possible. I can't say the tenant would work 2 shifts or 3 shifts. There's probably a lot of people in Temple that work multiple shifts at multiple companies that have 2 and 3 shifts. I think Janice may run more than 1 or 2 shifts, a few others. But most of these groups are 9 to 5, just to answer your question. And the dock doors, again, are not going to be 100 feet away from the fence. They will be facing inward, so you will have either car parking, office, and/or a wall, but the business side of the industrial, the truck courts, the trucks, will all be creek-oriented where the lower portion of the property sits.
I just wanted to clarify about the noise level, because most of us on our street, I think I'm the youngest and I'm 53. Everybody else is a lot older. So,
And those are great questions. I don't want somebody that's making a bunch of noise that's going to, next time another tenant shows up, says, I don't want to do business here. I don't want to come into this park. I don't want bad tenants in the park. It makes my job tougher. It also gives tenants who are adjacent to loud customers a reason to leave and not renew their lease or to break their lease. So I'll tour. Uh,
My street, on our street, it's very, very quiet.
Understood.
It is a dead-end street.
Any other questions or comments? All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and move to item number 10. Consider making a recommendation on the request by Billy Jack Bell. Planning Commission, do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with this, to rezone with the recommendation that
Microphone.
everybody comes back, so these people get a chance to see what's gonna be built before.
Okay, use your microphone and give me your motion again.
I make a recommendation to approve his recommendation to go light commercial,
Industrial,
Light industrial.
light industrial.
light industrial, I'm sorry. But I would like for my neighbors to have a chance to come back and review his plans of what he's gonna put on this property before it happens, and give them a voice.
Okay, for clarification, your motion is to recommend approval to the city council with the stipulation that he have to return to the planning commission and the city council with final plans for whatever business he's going to build for. Is that correct?
Correct.
There's a motion by Mr. Curtis. Is there a second?
Excuse me,
Yes.
can I make another recommendation?
Not till I see if I get a second.
Okay.
Once I get a second. Is there a second? I have a second by Mr. Doster. Now we'll have discussion. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make a recommendation that we get all information that we need up front, so that there won't be any surprises to Temple, the citizens, or the citizens of Temple. To me, like the gentleman said, it's just a pig in the poke. To me, it's just too much uncertainty, unseen. It's just, to me, it's just too wide open. I would like to have more information up front.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? Okay, we have a motion to recommend approval to the city council with the stipulation that once tenants are identified and construction is going to start, that the applicant return and review that information with the planning commission and the city council. All in favor of the motion signify by raising your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion fails. Any other action before the planning commission? So with the failure of the motion, it goes to the city council with no action?
No, the city council will take the recommendation to deny it, but they will decide ultimately.
Okay. I'm just clarifying, we didn't have a motion to deny. We had a motion to approve that failed, so it would be no action by the planning
That's true.
commission.
Good point.
Is that
Okay.
correct? I just
Well,
want to make sure before,
Because the council can still make a decision moving forward whether.
yeah, the city council
Yeah.
can still decide without a recommendation. And that, as it stands
But I
right
don't think
now,
it's
unless
no
the-
action, I think it's just denied, it was
Approve or
denied, the
deny.
approval was denied.
Okay, all right. All right. Anything else to come before the planning commission tonight? Do I hear a motion to adjourn? I have a motion by Mr. Doster, a second by Mr. Curtis. All in favor say aye. Aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
He can bring it back before us, right?
Not a denial.
All right.
So as long as the city council, if they say no, we do it. Or what? Or they have
No,
to come
yeah, no, it don't come back to us.
back. No, I mean,